الله الرحمن الرحيم. Hi everybody, my name is Ibrahim باعباد. Today I am going to present to you my thesis topic, which is about enhancing cyber threat hunting technique for preventing ransomware attacks, a proactive approach. The outline of this presentation: first is a brief introduction, then I present the motivation of this research along with the objectives, then the literature review summary are shown, then the hypothesis of this research along with the methodology developed to ensure the objective of this research, then the expected outcomes after doing the methodology, then the timeline in a Gantt chart frame, and then I can conclude with expected limitations. As we know that internet has been provided with many services, valuable services to business sector, but as the internet security remains a big concern to the community, cyber criminals always are inviting new malwares to damage the assets of the business. Ransomware is one of that malware, which is affect the victim system and the data. It locks the victim system, as well as it can also encrypt the sensitive data of the user. Also, the ransomware affects the victim's financial resources, in which the ransomware demand a ransom as a fee to decrypt the encrypted data. Hence, we have two types of ransomware: local ransomware and crypto ransomware. However, the crypto ransomware is considered in recent literature much more than the local ransomware, due to its heavy financial loss and the big financial loss upon the business sector. As some brief history of the ransomware: the first ransomware was Trojan 8, which is developed in 1989. As another example is the crypto war ransom. This ransomware instance caused a loss of $352 million around the world in 2015. WannaCry, as another instance of ransomware, damaged 200,000 computers over 150 countries around the world in 2017. This all because the ransomware demand a ransom for individual victim as $300, whereas it is for the business victim around $10,000. Here in this figure, this figure shows the eviction sources over the internet for the ransomware. We can say that the majority of this, around 65% of these sources is belong to email. The email, whether it is an attachment or in a link. So this is the majority of the infection sources. It comes from the email to the users. So what is the solution? Recent studies done to prevent and early detect ransomware. The recent studies shows that the artificial intelligence used for proactive forecasting However, the traditional machine learning used algorithms consumes time in extraction process and feature extraction process, and thus reduce the network monitoring proactivity. So our research problem is how to enhance the cyber threat hunting technique performance in order to proactively protect the users' sensitive data and their system against ransomware attacks. For this motivation, we derived four objectives to be achieved to address this motivation. First objective is to review the relevant existing approaches in order to get knowledge about the shortcomings in this field. After this, we will propose an optimum enhanced model to overcome these shortcomings by applying various data stream mining techniques. Then we need to test the proposed model through standard ransomware attacks testing environment using a generic ransomware datasets. Finally, we should measure the proposed model outcomes to evaluate its performance with comparison in terms of accuracy and time latency. Here is the literature review summary. Based on literature that I have reviewed, there are 4 types of ransomware analysis approaches: the static analysis, the dynamic analysis, the preventive analysis, and the hybrid analysis. Here in our research, we will focus about the preventive approach, especially in proactive monitoring analysis approach. In this table, the studies have been reviewed in the literature review. Recent works, it is about the 2020 and 2019. Some of them depends on the static analysis, some of them use the dynamic analysis, 4 of them use proactive monitoring. As we can see in the last study, the shortcoming is to use data stream mining techniques as a new tool to enhance the system in monitoring the network. The hypothesis of this research is to enhance the cyber threat hunting of ransomware attacks proactively using data stream mining classification algorithms. This will lead to get accurate behavioral analysis of ransomware attacks along with the minimized time latency. For this hypothesis, we derive a methodology. We propose a methodology with 4 phases to ensure the 4 objectives has been achieved. The first phase is reviewing the relevant existing approach. The second phase is to propose an enhanced approach for cyber threat hunting technique. The third phase is to test the proposed model using generic ransomware datasets, whereas the fourth phase is to evaluate the proposed model accuracy and time latency. Here is the detailed flowchart for this methodology, which is to map the research methodology towards the research objectives. As we can see, here is the phase 1. It has 2 steps: to search the recent works and analyze them. Then the phase 2, to propose an enhanced approach. We have also 2 steps, first is to get existing shortcomings, and then to apply data stream mining techniques to existing data sets. The third phase, we have also 2 steps to accomplish the testing phase, with which we need to prepare a generic ransomware datasets. Also, then we will use massive online analysis software to test the proposed model. The fourth step is to evaluate the proposed model accuracy and time latency, we need to get the confusion matrix first, then we will calculate the performance metrics, then we will measure the time latency, and then we will make a comparison between all approaches. This will inshallah make the objective accomplished. In phase 2, I say that the proposing which was to propose an enhanced approach for cyber threat hunting technique through using data stream mining. According to the literature, the data stream mining classifies into two categories. First is the clustering techniques, another one is the classification techniques. Since our objective is to classify the activity of the networks, whether it is normal activity or attack activity, especially a ransomware, we will use the classification techniques here shown in the right side of this slide. In phase 4, we will evaluate the proposed model accuracy and time latency using the confusion matrix, which has 4 values: the true positive, true negative, and the false positive, false negative. And we will compute the performance metric, which is the followed, and the miss rate and the false recognition rate, to depend on the accuracy of which will tell us the accuracy level of the proposed model. After all this methodology is done, the expected outcomes is that the proposed model use one of the data stream mining techniques will detect and prevent ransomware attacks proactively in optimized time and accurate classification. Therefore, it will enhance the cyber threat hunting technique performance. Also, it will help to prevent the victim's financial loss, and it will increase the security levels of the victim's system and data. This is what the main objective of this course. It will be met inshallah after this study as expected outcomes. Here is the summarized information of the 4 objectives. The first objectives, we are expected to finish it within 40 days. The second objective, also we assume that we need 40 days, another 40 days. The third objective, we expect that we need 30 days or a month to accomplish this objective, which is testing. The fourth objective is the measuring and evaluating. We assume that we need 20 days. So in general, we have this time plan as in a Gantt chart. It shows the activities of research with blue color, and another activity which is writing thesis, which is in the green orange color. All of them, it depends on 6 months to accomplish the project. Here we see that we have 4 objectives or 4 phases to accomplish the main objective. Here is the first objective, and here the second. Here we can see the third, and this is the fourth. And finally, we will inshallah see the thesis of profile after 7 months from now. In conclusion, I conclude with the expected limitations of this project. We have 5 limitations. First one is the full range of data stream mining models is not fully manipulated. Hence, this is because we will select only few models because the time constraints. The second limitation is the proposed model implementation may not be compatible with the test bed. So we may need to implement the proposed model from the scratch to be compatible with the MOA software. The third limitation is accessing the original data sets from its resources may be denied. This is because some authors are not responding to our requests. It may this limitation, so we may simply as which we gather, we can arrange the dataset. We will use it as general datasets. The fourth one, the integrating data from different resources with various format. As we said that we are aiming to have 5 original datasets we have 5 resources of datasets. So if we can get access to those 5, the integrating data, it will take some time to integrate all data with different formats. The final limitation is the sample size of the generic ransomware dataset. As we said, if we can get the whole 5 resources of dataset, it will be good sample size. But if we have just get access to 2 or 1 datasets, then the sample size will be small. That may affect the results and the decision of this proposed model. Here the main references that I used in this proposal about my thesis. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I welcome all of them. Thank you. See you later.